Hello Vols, welcome back to week 4 of our bathtub swim lesson and water safety series. If you missed lessons 1 through 3, they're still on our Facebook page so that you can get caught up. In today's water safety topic, we will be going over beach and ocean safety. And in today's bathtub swim lesson, we will be beginning the journey of learning how to float on our backs. Let's get swimming. I am by no means an expert in ocean safety, so I consulted one. Gabby Thomas is a San Diego beach lifeguard. She even spent the last year teaching beach and ocean safety in New Zealand. The following information is by no means everything that you need to know about beach and ocean safety, but it is a start. We will be going over how to pick the right beach, taking beach hazards and your own swimmability into consideration, as well as sun safety, flotation devices, and even a little bit about marine life. When you have it as an option, you should always choose a lifeguard beach, and like the pool and the lake, you should never swim alone. Also, like with the pool and the lake, parents need to keep a close watch on children and set strict boundaries for their safety. As a parent, you should always be with your child, actively supervising without distractions. Even those who know how to swim well are not immune to the dangers of the ocean. Just because you or your child can swim well in a pool doesn't mean that you can do so in the ocean when you have waves, tides, and currents to swim through. You should always be aware of hazards on the beach that you are swimming, including, but not limited to, piers, tides, rocks, sandbars, currents, shore breaks, water temperatures, and marine animals. Make sure that you obey all signage and lifeguard instructions. When it comes to the beach, you really need to stay sun safe. Wear sunscreen of at least 30 SPF, and bring your own shade. Your own shade can include hats and sunglasses, as well as umbrellas and tents. At the beach, the best personal flotation device is still a Coast Guard approved life jacket. You should not rely on a boogie board or surfboard as a life-saving flotation device. However, if you get into trouble, you should use them until help arrives. Next, we will be going over rip currents, how to not only recognize them, but how to get out of one as well. Rip currents cause 99% of ocean drownings, so it is vital that you know where and why rip currents form. Rip currents form next to piers, fixed objects, or in deep spots along the ocean coast. They form because water coming in with waves needs a way to get back to the ocean. The rip current is how the water does that. You can recognize a rip current by observing a few key things. First being a spot with little or no waves. Rip currents take the path of least resistance to deeper water, but waves only crash on shallower sandbars. That is why you will see a spot with no waves, where the current is being pulled back out to sea to the deeper spot. Next, you could see murky water because the water moving back out to sea will take sand with it. And finally, sometimes you will see ripples or a river-like channel between the sandbars. Can you spot the rip current in the picture? Now that you know why a rip current happens and what it looks like, you need to know how to get out of one. First, you need to stay calm. I know that this is easier said than done, but remember that rip currents pull you out, not down and under, and they only pull you as far as the waves start breaking. Second, swim to the side. Fighting the current by swimming directly into it is tiring. By swimming sideways or parallel with the shore, you will save energy, and once out of the current, the waves will help get you back to the shore. Third, relocate. Swim to where you see waves. When it comes to marine life, you should always give marine life space and respect. This includes crabs, starfish, and even the tide pool creatures. They are delicate, and we should always do what we can to protect them. Now, let's go over some of the more serious sea animals. First being jellyfish. These little blobs will float with the tides, eventually washing ashore. Some are more poisonous than others. Treat stings by rinsing with warm water or vinegar. Stingrays come to shore in the warmer summer months. Avoid by shuffling your feet. A sheath on their barbs emits a neurotoxin that is broken down by hot water of more than 100 degrees. Next, let's talk about sharks. The juvenile sharks feed on stingrays, whereas adult sharks feed on fish and seals. Shark attacks are very rare, but avoid swimming at beaches where recent sightings have happened. And finally, sea lions. They are generally playful and friendly, but if you get too close, they can bite. In this week's bathtub swim lesson, we will be going over back floating and how to reach and throw, but not go. I first want to communicate how important a role the instructor or the parent has when teaching back float. When kids are on their back, they will feel like they are falling, which is made worse when they get water into their ears. If they are not relaxed, they will tense up and sink like a rock. As the parent, your job is to make your child feel supported enough to experience their own buoyancy without letting them grab onto you. If children feel like they are falling, you will see their legs come up and their chin tucked to their chest, which only makes them sink even faster. So in each of the holds that I'm going to show you, you will want to support their head and back with your hand until they can relax. Progressing to just you supporting their head with your hand, then progressing even further to just supporting their head with your fingers, then to you not supporting them at all. During back float, I like to have the kids sing Twinkle Twinkle, ABCs, or even count to 10 to help them relax and breathe, as relaxing and breathing can help them float. Also, it helps if you have them look up into your eyes. Let's talk about Polly, our 20-month-old parent-child age swimmer. For Polly's back floating, I started very low in the water, with her head on my shoulder, ears out of the water, her back supported, as we sang and got used to being on our back in the water, floating around this way and that. For Polly's first progression, you will notice her head is still supported on my shoulder, but I get her to hold my hands so that I can spread her arms out so that she's in more of a starfish position. Then for Polly's final progression, she is supported only with my hands, and her ears are in the water while we sing her favorite songs, Twinkle Twinkle and ABCs. She is still getting used to having water in her ears. Next we have Henley, our 2-year-old parent-child age swimmer. For Henley, I wanted to show you how you could help support and practice back float without actually getting into the water yourself. Kicking and legs up are normal reactions. Keep encouraging them to lay flat on their back, head back, belly up, and let the legs fall down. Don't get discouraged if they can't get it right off the bat. If you keep practicing, they will get it. Here it took Henley several tries to get her legs to relax and fall down. Next we have Miles, our 3-year-old preschool age swimmer. As you can see, Miles is a very tense back floater that gets very nervous and holds his breath, causing his legs to come up and his bottom to sink down. Getting him to sing was vital to getting him to relax and breathe, which as you can see, helped him keep his head back, belly up, and legs down. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, belly up. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Good job, buddy.
Here you will see that if Miles is relaxed enough, he has control of his own head and belly. When this happens, I'm able to stop supporting him with my hands to where he is floating by himself, even if just for a few seconds before his head goes underwater. If you notice, he goes underwater when he takes a big breath and holds it, tucks his chin, and his belly falls down. Slowly but surely, he will be able to hold this floating position for longer and longer periods of time. Now we have Jane, our 6-year-old school-age swimmer. With Jane, I started out just supporting her head, as she already had great control over her legs and belly. Here, she did an assisted back float. Assisted, she can feel more confident with her back float, knowing that water won't get into her eyes and nose right away. Next, Jane does an unassisted back float. Here, she has to control everything: her head, her belly, her legs, even how fast she goes into her back float. With this type of unassisted back float, she runs the risk of going underwater, which you will see she does. For this unassisted float, she uses the wall to support herself until she feels she's ready to let go and float by herself. And finally for Jane, I want to show you where we're headed. Floating, then adding a kick to move. In order to swim, you have to be able to float first. For this week's bathtub swim lesson water safety tip, I wanted to talk about reach and throw, don't go. When asked what they would do if one of their friends was having trouble swimming in the pool, most kids on instinct would say that they would get in to help their friend. We want to teach them that this is not the safest thing for them to do, but that the best thing that they could do to help their friends is to get an adult who is close by, or to reach or throw but not go to that friend who is in trouble. You must make it clear that if they go into the water to help that friend, they could drown. And the best way for them to help is for them to be on the deck. Show them things that they can throw, like rafts, life jackets, kickboards, and even pool noodles. Then show them how to lay on their belly to reach, which is better than them sitting or standing so that they can't get pulled in. Reach or throw, don't go, is vital to not only children's safety, but also for the safety of adults who don't know how to swim. Thank you guys so much for being here with us today. As a reminder, we don't have a lesson next Friday, on July 3rd. Our next lesson will be on Friday, July 10th, where we will start the journey of learning how to float on our fronts.